Help, are my tears free? The heroine and the hero have been in love for 10 years from the age of 18 to 28. Because the heroine doesn't like to get up early, the hero scheduled the wedding in the evening. But the mission came that night, and the hero said he would come back to marry the heroine in a week. But the mission failed, the hero also disappeared, and the heroine waited for 5 years. Later, the police said they found him. He opened a homestay called Sunny Day in a coastal town. But he has lost his memory, and there is another girl by his side. They love each other, just like me and him in the past, and we are getting married next month. How is this possible? I was pursued by him for 2 years and spoiled for 5 years. How could he forget me except for someone who has been married twice? The heroine asked the police to take him to see the hero. The plane transferred to the bus, and the bus took 5 hours. I vomited all over the sky. After 10 hours, the 4 of us finally arrived at the town. Over there, the police pointed to a B&B called Ban Shanghai. This hotel, which had been unknown until now, suddenly became popular because of a group of photos taken by tourists. The owner who suddenly appeared in a small town attracted countless fans. Although there was only a side profile, it was enough to make a group of people crazy. The police looked at me. He doesn't remember anything, he must be. I stared at the door, and my 5 senses were gone. When the police pushed open the door, the wind chimes made of conch shells rang out. In front of me was a large yard, with a cobblestone path leading to the house. There was a huge swing in the yard, a golden retriever and many cats. I looked at the small animals in surprise. Suddenly, a person came out from behind the curtain made of shells. He was tall and had long legs, and wore a black t-shirt. The arm lines under his head were tight and smooth, and the side profile was clean and neat. When I saw him, my body froze uncontrollably, my back was numb, my head was buzzing, and my body function seemed to have been lost in an instant. I could only stare at the man in front of me with all my strength. I have seen people who look 80% like Chen Mingsheng. Even the teardrop moles under the corners of their eyes are exactly the same, but I knew at a glance that he was not Chen Mingsheng. The man in front of me was far from my youth. His face was more mature than the facial features of the young Chen Mingsheng, more angular and more cold. I couldn't help but get closer and closer until I saw the teardrop mole at the corner of his eye and the red string around his neck. Chen Mingsheng, I held back my tears and called out his name softly, fearing to scare him away. He looked up at me with an extremely unfamiliar look. What? Chen Mingsheng, I could hardly pronounce his name. The man looked at me coldly. Sorry, miss, you got the wrong person. But I may get anything wrong in my life, but I won't get Chen Mingsheng wrong, because he is half my life. The police hurriedly pulled me. Excuse me, do you have any vacant rooms? Chen Mingsheng crossed his arms and carefully examined us. Yes, how many rooms do you want? 2, come in. He turned his head and walked straight into the house without even looking at me. I naively thought that as long as he saw me, he would definitely think of me. As long as he saw me, everything would be different. But the look he gave me was strange and sharp, and a little bit of disgust at being rude. I didn't cry when I heard that he was still alive. I didn't cry when I heard he was getting married, but when I thought of his eyes just now, my heart felt like it was being held in someone's hand, and it hurt so much that it was about to burst. Tears fell uncontrollably. ID card, the police handed us our ID cards. When the man took the ID card, I clearly saw that his left little finger was missing a piece. He walked to the counter, and his right leg was slightly lame. I covered my mouth. The police took the room card and hurriedly asked someone to take me out. I sat in the room for a long time before I found my voice. How did he become like this? On the way here, I swore that I would give him a hard slap when we met. How could this unfaithful man forget me and marry another woman? But the moment I saw him, I suddenly couldn't bear to leave. I just wanted to hug him. I stayed in the room for a long time, so long that Sister Lee was afraid that something would happen to me and took me out of the room. Everyone was eating barbecue in the backyard. I saw Chen Mingsheng grilling skewers at a glance. The police stood next to him. The two seemed to be chatting very well. Kaja, are you feeling better? I nodded. Ah Ming, let me introduce you. This is Kaja. I slowly extended my hand, controlling myself from shaking. And Kaja, hello. The broad and warm palm briefly shook my hand. Ah Ming, hello. The greeting between strangers. At that moment my nose was sore and I remembered. When he just proposed to me, he hugged me and was so gentle, calling me Mrs. Chen. Hello tenderly. After all, I missed it. Looking at the person in front of me, I had countless questions to ask, but in the end I only asked one question. This place is beautiful. Are you living well here? He flipped the grill skillfully and answered casually, very good, that's good. As he was talking, a chicken wing suddenly fell down. He looked towards the door. Potato, come here. Potato is the name of a ginger cat we adopted together. He gave the name. He said, it's fat and round, so let's call it Potato. Looking at the big golden retriever wagging its tail, my throat tightened. Is his name Potato? Well, fat and round. What else can he be called if not Potato? I turned my back and wiped my tears quietly. Only he could come up with such a tacky name. The skewers were grilled, and everyone gathered together to eat. Looking at the beer on the table, I took a can and poured it into my mouth. The bitter taste spread in my mouth. I looked at the person opposite me. The beauty mole that I often laughed at was still at the end of her eye. There was still a red string hanging on her neck, but I didn't know if it was the one I gave her. Everything was unreal. sisterly distributed grilled skewers to us, and put mushrooms on his plate. I took it up before him. No, he can't eat mushrooms. Everyone at the table suddenly looked at me. Just when I was at a loss, a figure suddenly ran over, jumped directly onto Chen Mingxing's back, hugged his neck and rubbed it intimately. Ming, I miss you so much. Chen Mingxing hurriedly bent down, protecting the person behind him with one hand. Get down. Although it was a reprimand, I heard only doting in the tone. The person on his back was pulled into his arms by him, and he introduced with a smile, "This is my wife, Lin Shui." I still held the string of mushrooms in my hand, staring blankly at the girl in front of me with a smile as bright as the sun. My chest trembled, and the whole person seemed to be hit by a heavy hammer, and it hurt so much that I couldn't breathe. "Hello, I am Lin Shui, Ming's wife. Welcome to Haicheng." The police greeted them one by one. Lin Shui is very talkative. She praised everyone. She praised me. "Sister Kajia, you are so beautiful, so thin, I envy you. Your hair is still so good, unlike me, I will be bald soon." Suddenly she remembered something and turned to look at the man behind her. "There must be something wrong with your hair drying. You should pay attention, otherwise I will become a bald bride at the wedding next week." Chen Mingxing rubbed her hair and laughed helplessly. Okay, looking at her clear eyes, there was never a speck of dust, and her eyes were full of expectations for the wedding, just like me at the beginning. "Wedding?" Sister Lee asked. "Yes. Next Wednesday is our wedding. I hope everyone will come." I opened another can of beer, and Lin Shui also took one, but as soon as she got it, the man snatched it away. "Don't drink it." Lin Shui acted coquettishly. Just one sip. After that, she secretly kissed him without caring about us being there. "Okay, Ming, just one sip, one sip. Drink this." The white cup was filled with undulating roses. The cup was opened, and the fragrance of roses wafted out. Lin Shui frowned. "Rose? Ming, I've told you 800 times that I don't like flower tea. Why do you always forget?" "I don't know. I just make it whenever I want." Hearing his words, I turned my head away and drank the last sip of beer. I don't like drinking water. When I was in high school, my throat was overdrawn severely from memorizing. When it was serious, I couldn't even speak. In order to make me drink more water, Chen Mingxing made me drink water in various ways: flower tea, fruit tea, and oolong tea. In winter, he would also make apple juice and pear soup for me. Every time I drink an extra glass of wate. The arrogant Master Chen almost worships my pink thermos. Seeing me drinking beer, Lin Shui continued to negotiate. "Look, Sister Kajia has already drunk a can. Maybe her hair is so beautiful because of beer. You are so funny." I looked at the beer at hand and smiled bitterly. My previous boyfriend also didn't let me drink because I drank one bottle at a time. He was very strict with me. Lin Shui looked at me. "Will he not be angry if you drink like this now?" I glanced behind her and shook my head. He has stopped caring about me for a long time.